Hey there, guys. So I thought maybe you would want to see some of the things I'm doing for therapies now that I am home from Mexico and the Hope for Cancer Center. There's a lot of stuff, huge box of supplements for various things. One day I'll go through all of the supplements and tell you what they are and what they're made for. But tonight I just want to kind of talk about the therapies. I do want to say I am letting my blonde, like my natural hair, grow out. My fingernails are no more because of, especially, it's more so the breathing than it is the actual chemicals going in my scalp. Just the toxicity of the air as I'm doing that. So yeah, I'm gonna go natural with the hair, and then same thing with the nails. And it's like, it's all good, because I was doing flowers yesterday and I got my hands in there. It was like, it felt kind of good to grub around. All right, I want to talk to you guys about what I'm doing. There are multiple ways that like at Hope for Cancer, and you can find some of these therapies in the US. They're not illegal. You can find them. It's just hard to find them all in the same place. So someone was asking me today, where would you direct someone, if they were diagnosed with cancer? And I would say either a functional doctor that understands cancer, or someone that does muscle testing, that understands what the body needs and what the body is asking for and what's kind of out of whack with it. And if someone that even does the muscle testing, if they can do like a urine, stool, saliva, hair, like all of the samples, from your body, to find out what your body is lacking and what your body needs. Because everyone, whether it's cancer or not, every body needs something or has too much of something, and it's going to be different. So even with all of us that were there at the cancer center, we all had different kinds of cancer. And even those of us that had the same type of cancer, therapies were a little bit different of what we came home with. Supplements were a little bit different. Times of doing therapies, all of those things were just different for all of us. So I would say this: get an assessment to find out what your body is doing, what it needs. Like for mine, it is not just cancer that's going on here. It is, for those that haven't heard, I had an infection in 2022. And I was on 14 rounds of antibiotics. So it destroyed my gut. And then my gut has never been repaired. So I'm having a hard time metabolizing food. And also in my hormones and my immune system, I'm having a hard time metabolizing like extra estrogen. And so it's just a perfect storm right in the place where the scar tissue was. Scar tissue and then an old infection can stress out the cells around and start causing cancer. So those are things that you're not necessarily going to hear at your oncologist's office. But when you talk with someone that understands the whole picture, you learn a whole lot. So, all right, so there's that. I would go to someone like that. And then as far as therapy, at Hope for Cancer, they do, like when I went, they did a lot of detoxing. And then they did things to reboost, like nutrition-wise and immune system with vitamin C. Intravenously, there were injections that I'm still doing here, Sunivera, Sunivera. There's other pills that I'm taking that is boosting my immune system. So lots of things like that. They also do light therapy. And they do sound therapy. And that's some of the things that I want to show you, my toys here. So this is something, it's a watch that I wear. First, let me talk about light therapy. I actually have my computer here because I wanted to read something to you. It's called photodynamic therapy. Okay. And so I want to read this. This is how PDT, photodynamic therapy, LED lights work. So I actually have a panel here of LED lights. And when you plug them in, like you can't look at them, like, because they're like kind of blinding. But when you plug them in, they're like different color lights, okay, LED lights. And these are very high powered, so that any tumors that are on the top of the skin will be gotten by these. But this is how it works. Photosynthesizing agents. So in other words, you have, let me just read. First, a patient is administered a sensitizing agent, a drug that becomes active when exposed to specific wavelengths of light. So in other words, they give you an agent. For mine, it was like this black charcoaly kind of stuff, and they put it under the tongue. So I have that here. I actually go up when I'm going to bed. I have to do it tonight. I have to do it once a week. And I'll put it under my tongue. It's this little thing, like you have to keep it in the dark. So even when I get it out of my freezer, I have to go and take it and hide it. And then I go into a dark room, and then I just go and like open the bottle, tap it, put it under my tongue, and it has to stay there for 5 minutes. And then, so I have to fast 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. So that's my activator. So that when I do the light therapy, it hits it. So listen to this. These agents can be applied, I just said that. It can be topically or injected or orally. That's how I do it. And then cancer cells tend to absorb and retain these photosensitizing agents more than the normal cells do. So the light activation, after a specific time interval, the cancerous area is exposed to a light source, right? LED or a laser, or like I have the watch. This is a laser watch. This goes on my veins here, and I plug it in. Then the light activates the photosensitizer, triggering a chemical reaction within the cancer cells. And then it's a cancer cell destruction. The activated photosensitizer produces a toxic form of oxygen that damages and destroys the cancer cells. PDT can also damage the tumor so that it's inhibiting its growth. So the blood vessels inside the tumor, it can damage those actual blood vessels. So that means that the tumor stops growing. The destruction of cancer cells by PDT can also trigger the body's immune system to attack the remaining cancer cells, even in other areas of the body. So you're not just attacking that one tumor, it's attacking throughout your body. PDT is primarily used for cancerous and precancerous conditions that are on or near the surface of the skin or lining of organs, because the light cannot penetrate deep into the body. Examples like skin cancers or esophageal, small lung cancer, mine like on the sternum especially. So, because like I can feel those here, or the one that's down here. I can feel those. And even the ones, so there's like some activity, there's some like activity of what they've seen. No tumors being formed down here like in my diaphragm section, but there's some fluid. So I'm also holding this on my abdomen so that it gets the fluid, okay? Localized treatment, meaning it only affects the areas exposed to the light and the photosensitizer. It's less invasive than surgery. That's the whole idea of it. So another thing too, methylene blue is one of those activators as well. So I started out with like 10 drops, and then it went up to more drops, and I'm supposed to get 40 drops twice a day. So I'm up to about 30 drops twice a day, because your body has to adjust to it and so get immune to it, so that you don't have headaches and things like that. So that's the same thing. So that is a photosensitizer inside my body. Oh, and I had something here to read. Let me read a little bit about the methylene blue. It says, a photosensitizer like methylene blue is administered to the patient either topically orally or intravenously. So, but I hadn't worked up to that place where I could do it intravenously when I was there. And I think they were concerned about they wanted to make sure that my heart was okay and that a couple things were okay. So I didn't get to do it while I was there because I was too busy making sure everything was fine. So anyway, and everything is with the heart. The photosensitizer accumulates in cancer cells and is then activated. It's woken up by specific wavelengths of light. This activation leads to the production of reactive oxygen species. So it's just another way of saying it has like a different kind of oxygen that is toxic to cancer cells. And it'll cause damage and destroy cancer cells. And the PDT can be used to treat surface tumors, precancerous lesions, and many types of localized cancers. So that's just one little thing. There's a whole write-up about the methylene blue. So that's that. Very fascinating, right? So it's non-toxic. I know that there's stuff out there that people are like, it's controversial and it's like the end of the world kind of stuff. And I'm just telling you, like, here at Hope for Cancer, what we are all about is killing the cancer cells, right? Just destroying them. So this is my watch. This same thing. So I'm turning it on and but there's lights there. I'm not going to like shine that at you, but there's like little lights that are there and it's multiple colors. So when you do it like on something, see, there you go. You can see all the different colors. So it hits inside because your skin is so thin right here and those colors go in actually, into your, the light goes into your bloodstream. And then this plugs into it. So I can do this and then I can take this and put it on the different spots. So that is convenient as well. All right. So that is the light therapy. The other thing I wanted to show you, and this is FDA approved. This one is the sound therapy. And what this is, it has a frequency. You can hear it kind of buzzing when it's on. I don't know if you'll be able to or not. Oh, well, it's not plugged in and I don't have a battery in it. But anyway, it's like this tiny little, but it's sound. And that sound goes into, because your tumor's hard, or harder, or into the bone, or wherever, it is. And the sound goes in to break up the tumors, to break up the cells, right? And so if you are combining sound and light, and then there's oxygen therapy as well, either whether it's deep breathing, you can do, we're getting most likely very soon the hyperbaric chamber so that I can have more sources of oxygen because cancer does not like oxygen either. So, but this has been amazing. And I have just seen especially on my sternum. Now listen, I will say this. God is healer. Number one, first and foremost, God is behind it all. But I will tell you this, it's just like at Oral Roberts University, there's two hands. Some people call them the praying hands, but they're actually called the healing hands. And actually, let me turn it around because the right hand is higher than the left. The right hand represents the righteous hand of God, and that's superior. It's the healing of God. And then the left hand represents medical science and medicine, whatever that may mean. And I like these things here that God gives us, and nutrition and light and sound, things that will actually break up cancer cells and tumors and absorb them and destroy them. I think that's pretty amazing that God gave us so many resources that are non-toxic that can actually help us heal. One thing, and you guys have heard me say this before, again on Instagram, this turns off at 15 minutes. So if you want to hear the whole video, go to Facebook and watch the whole video. But the number one thing when there was a Q&A and asking the founder of Hope for Cancer, with all of the therapies. We've got nutrition, we've got intravenous things, we've got light therapy, sound therapy, all of the things. What's the number one thing? Like, what should we go home and focus on first and foremost? And do you know what he said? The spiritual and any kind of emotional hurts and trauma and wounds that you may be carrying in your body, because your body keeps score. The sin it comes in at a cellular level, and it causes damage to you, to your body, whether it's coming through in cancer or maybe stress and heart disease or ulcers or worry and anxiety, panic, sleep loss, all of these things. Your body keeps score of the things that's happened to you, whether it's things that's happened to you or things that you've done, bad choices or whatever. Your body keeps score, and at some point it catches up. So those were things that I just had no idea. I had no idea whatsoever about that. And so what I found, and this has happened significantly 2 times. One time was when I found the root, like when I was working with a counselor, and then it was just me and the Lord just took it deeper. That very day, that very night when I went home, we went back to the hotel. So I had the counseling session. Then I had my own time, like for an hour with the Lord, just me and the Lord. And he just brought some things to light that was like, whoa. And then by the time that I did the sound therapy at the hotel, then I looked in the mirror and I'm like, this is smaller. Like, this is significantly smaller. And then Pat looked and he was like, wow. Like, he was like, it was definitely smaller. So that was like a couple days before I started taking the pictures and I posted them. So, and then it happened again just recently, where I saw, like, especially in between like that, it's getting thinner like that. And then like the top of it is like, there's like divots in there now on the sternum. And it's like the wall's coming down. That hard wall that's been there, like that shield and that tough girl and I can handle myself and whatever, like it's coming down. And there's just so much more peace with my past, peace in another level with the Lord. It's been amazing. I will say absolutely amazing. So all that to say, God has, my mentor used to say, there's a bazillion ways that God can answer our prayers. And sometimes he does do, I'm going to do another video to give this justice, but my friend, Roxanne Harper, she wrote this book, and she was a mentor to me in California. Now I had a mentor, Beverly, in Colorado, and then when I moved to California, it was Roxanne, and she was miraculously healed from cancer. And I recommend getting this book because it's her story. Her testimony is phenomenal. Now, she has verbally told it to me and I know what it is, but I've not read her book. So she just sent this to me, and she like the Lord came to her in the middle of the night and healed her of cancer. Jesus came to her and did something just to make, I know what it is, but I don't want to ruin it for you. So get the book and find out what the Lord did for Roxanne, Pastor Roxanne, while she was in her sleep, because she asked the Lord for a sign. She had breast cancer. She asked the Lord for a sign, and boy, did Jesus come to her in the middle of the night. And then she was healed. So I love it. I love those testimonies of when they just go and it's just a done deal. Absolutely. And we've seen that. We've witnessed that in my household as well. We've seen that happen with many things. And honestly, my first time with cancer, I believe that happened at a conference, but I was too afraid to not take the chemo, because literally at the conference, it was a 4-centimeter tumor. And by the time that we went home from it, it had already shrunk, and it was like it was smaller. all the things, but I'm like, I had 2 babies, I had 2 little kids, and I was just too afraid not to take chemo. But the Lord will let me know what happened in that. So I do believe that I got my healing with that. But with this one, what I'm dealing with right now is just more of a journey. And I don't know if it is that the Lord wants to bring more of the non-toxic things to America so that people can be healed here, that people can have more things to help them. Then let me be a voice. That's awesome. Praise God. If that's why, but I also know that the Lord just wants to do deeper healings in me as well. And then what I have, I share with you guys, and it is what it is. So, all right, that's all I have for you tonight. It is 20 minutes long, but I just wanted to share that. And I actually need to get this watch on right now. Ooh, I need to get this watch on now because it is time. I'm 15 minutes late getting this on. So I guess I could show you how I put it on. So I do that. Which one do I need? I need this left arm. So I'm gonna put it on. And then what I normally do is just, actually the last couple of nights I've been watching like some Disney movies, like Monsters University, Monsters Inc. Tonight we started watching, what did I start watching? Another one, something. We watched Jesus Revolution last night, so I'm going to turn it up because it has to stay on for 60 minutes. And then I'm going to plug this bad boy in, okay? And so I'm going to just tuck it under my pocket for now. And then I turn it on. And there it is. Can you see the light? So this just stays on for an hour. Okay. So that's it. All right, guys. Love you guys. Just wanted to show you. Some of you guys are interested. Others that haven't made it this far, you're like, oh, Rebecca's making another video. All right. I love you guys. We'll talk to you later.